Hey everybody, welcome to episode 126 of Is This Thing Working? How you doing, Denise?
I am awesome today. I'm going to say awesome. I missed my word. It's back. Yay. I'm all about
Yay.
awesome today.
Yay.
I'm feeling great.
Yep.
You know, getting a little tired of the weather that's going on here lately, though.
Yeah, we can't have gentle rain storms anymore. You can't just have a rainfall. It has to be raining sideways, and it has to be just violent and horrible, man, I guess.
I know you look at the weather of the weather stations and you pull up the maps and everything, and it's going all the way across the state. It's this one big blob of red. Vroom. It just drives me crazy just looking at it. It's scary.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, how many times here recently have you just been able to sit on the back porch and watch the weather and go, oh man, look, it's fixing to rain, and it just comes a nice little rain, and you're able to sit under your porch and, you know, halfway just enjoy the rain beating off the tin roof, hitting off the tin roof. No, not nowadays. You can't, because the wind's going to blow 60, 70. There's going to be tornadoes, and the rain's going to be torrential and sideways.
And you're going to have limbs from the trees blowing at you, and pine cones, because we're in East Texas, man. You get hit by a pine cone with a 70-mile-an-hour wind, that hurts, let me tell you.
Yep. And I'm just kind of like, we're kind of like making light of the weather, I guess, but it's really not been anything to make light of, I guess, man. Strong storms, and this is coming from KDFW out of Dallas. Strong storms with damaging winds and baseball-sized hail ravaged through Texas on Tuesday, leaving over 1 million homes and businesses without power. The storm comes as the surrounding region recovers from severe weather, including tornadoes that's killed at least 25 people during the Memorial Day holiday weekend. Widespread outages were reported in North Texas, including Dallas and Fort Worth, as well as rural East Texas, amidst an oppressive early season heat wave. And I know yesterday after the storm, this was about 3 or 3:30 yesterday, even in our East Texas area, Smith County had 29,000 people without power that had been reported. And the article here goes on to say that as of 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time yesterday, about 530,000 customers are dealing with power outages, which is down from 650,000 earlier in the day. And this was in the Dallas area. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins warned that the outages could last up to several days for some people. He said, this is not a generation problem like we sometimes have when it's cold or in the heat of the summer. This is a broken lines problem brought about by straight line winds, he said. This, unfortunately, will be a multi-day power outage situation similar to the one you saw in Harris County and Houston.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. There's a lot of people, and it's hot.
Yep.
Well, the thing about yesterday's storm, though, that got me is immediately after it stopped, when you walked outside, it was cold.
It was for a little while.
Compared to the way it was the day before. It was like chilly.
It got to 65 because I was kind of paying attention to the temp at that point. It got down to 65, Then, by about 7, 8 o'clock last night, it kind of warmed back up to about 72, 75. It was,
yes.
I
just thought that was odd.
It felt more like summertime evening, you know.
Well, and the thing is that it's not over. Multiple rounds of storms are expected tonight through Friday. I mean, I looked on our weather map, and it says 60% all the way through the week. So it's going to be a crazy week. It's not supposed to be severe. But still, we can't handle any more rain.
No, we can't. And talking about the power outages and like them talking about the heat and us talking about the temp, hey, man, it is bad to be without power. I know that it is. But in these kind of times, man, please, if you are in a neighborhood, keep mindful of your elderly people and keep mindful of the people that are sick and at home and that might need things like some power for a CPAP machine or power for, any kind of medical device that they may need at home for their own personal health. Think about these people if they don't have air conditioning, take them water. Go check on your neighbor. Make sure they're good. Make sure they're taken care of. Okay, please, people, that's what we ask. Just take care of your neighbor.
And please pray if you're far away and you can't get to anybody, and you don't have the money to do all that, just, send up a prayer because, Texans need to speak. We need to stick together.
And we're highlighting Texas, but we're not the only one, man.
No.
We watched over the weekend too the storms that went through
Oklahoma and Arkansas,
the northern part of Tennessee, Kentucky, and all of that through there, man. They caught a lot too, man, this weekend.
So you're all in our prayers.
Yeah, just remember all of that.
It's really been a crazy, crazy season. But before we start the show today, please listen to our sponsor.
Let me introduce you to Coffee Brothers Coffee, where every cup tells a story. From our carefully sourced beans to our artisanal blends, each sip is a journey of flavor and quality. Whether you need a morning pick-me-up or a midday treat, Coffee Brothers has you covered. Taste the difference today. Coffee Brothers, brewing excellence since day one. If you go to coffeebrothers.com, they've got online promo codes. You can save 10, 15%. A lot of times they have subscription rates. As far as me and Denise goes, our favorite blends are the espresso roast, the medium roast. So please just go to coffeebrothers.com.
Yep, or you can click the link below. And we thank you, our sponsors, and our listeners for making it possible for us to keep the show free for you to watch every single day.
And before we start the show today, we also want to state these are our opinions and our assertions. If you agree with us, you tell your friends and you share the show. Hey, if you don't agree with us, you tell your friends and you share the show. And also, stomp that like button and please follow us. Subscribe wherever you see the name. Is This Thing Working? Also, you can get to every show and every podcast on our website, www.is-this-thing-working.com. So check us out. Thank you for helping Denise and I grow our show.
Also, download that Rumble app so you can follow the show and you will receive instant notifications when we go live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you. Let's get on with Trump Watch.
Here we go.
Trump going into court this morning. He didn't stop at all or make a statement.
Yeah.
That was kind of unusual, don't you think? You think that was something he just said, I'm not even going to do it today?
Maybe he was a little bit late. I don't know. But maybe, I think most of all at this point right now, those of us that know better, he ain't got to say nothing else. We know what's going on. We've watched it. We've seen every bit of the corruption, every bit of this judge being sold out to a party, and he's going to do whatever they want.
Yes. He was pretty somber walking into court with just a little wave.
Yeah. Yep.
He
looked purposeful, and he looked like, hey, this is what I'm going to go do.
Head up.
I'm waving at you. I love you guys. I'll see you after a little bit.
That's right. I did see him. Fox News pointed out this morning that they put double protection for all the protests, I guess, in case something happens, because, the jury gets handed this case today.
Yeah.
So how do you think it's going to go?
That's a good question. And I had questions about that, man. How long do you think they're going to deliberate? How long do you think it's going to take?
I think it's going to take, I'm going to say they won't have it today. I believe it might be tomorrow. The judge actually wants it done by Friday. So there you go. Between now and Friday, we should have a verdict, right?
And how do they love to do the news drops and the info drops? They wait
Friday
till
at 5 o'clock.
Friday at 5 o'clock. I guarantee
every single time.
Yep.
Even if they came back, the judge probably wouldn't bring anything back till Friday.
Okay.
For some reason.
And think about this then. If they wait till Friday, which they probably will, could be wrong, but that's our guess. If they wait till Friday, what do you think the reaction's going to be over the weekend? What if it comes back guilty? What do you think the reaction's going to be? Do you think people are going to lose their minds?
I think a lot of people are expecting it already. I think that the conservatives or the MAGA base will be very upset. It will be very loud all over social media. That's all you're going to hear. But I also want you to pay attention to what the Democrats do. This is what they're waiting on. They are waiting for a crime for President Trump. They need this crime so bad that they have cheated everything they can.
Yeah. Well, they've totally flipped the judicial system on its head to do this. Now, okay, here we go. Here's an interesting point with this, too, because we know what this is. We know what it is. But if we were to say, okay, there are 12 legitimate, well-rounded, critical thinking, intelligent people that are sitting on this jury, and they've watched and heard and seen everything that we have seen, and they come back and they go unanimously, hey, man, there's no crime here. He hasn't committed a crime. He's done absolutely nothing wrong. He is innocent. What do you think the reaction is going to be now?
Oh my goodness. The Democrats it will turn on its face. It will totally be another political warfare. How dare you? He was guilty. You know, I mean, it will be constant. But the people are very consistent.
Will people
on our
stand
side?
Yeah. Will people stand out in the street and scream real loud like they did when he was
there
elected?
would be riots. You think there would be riots?
Yeah,
Is that
I do.
where you're going with that?
I'm telling you,
I could see that
yeah,
happening.
That's exactly where I'm going with.
That would probably be the beginning of riots. You know. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your prediction?
What is my prediction?
If he is found, what is your prediction that's going to happen?
He's going to be found guilty. There are how many counts? And
34,
right, something like that.
There.
Okay, they're probably going to try to convict him on the least that they possibly can, but still give him the right to go, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted. That's what they're going to do, and that's what they're going to play on.
Yes, my prediction, and I wrote this on X yesterday. My prediction is Judge Marchand will find him guilty, not the jury. Trump will be sentenced to house arrest. No more Trump rallies for Biden to get embarrassed over. Then Trump will be campaigning from the basement.
Hey, that wins elections, though, doesn't it?
It does win elections. Ain't that what Biden did? Totally wins elections. You know, but President Trump came out with a statement this morning before he did go into court, and he said this: kangaroo court, a corrupt and conflicted judge, reliance on counsel, in quotes, which means advice of counsel, not allowed by Marchand. A first, his rulings on a case that should, according to all legal scholars and experts, never have been brought, have made this a Biden push witch hunt. There was no crime except for the bum that got caught stealing from me. In God we trust.
Okay, this leads me to my last question, I guess, on this segment right here. Do you think a guilty verdict would truly help Joe Biden's campaign? Do you really?
No.
I don't. I don't
no.
either. I don't either.
None of this is helping Biden's campaign whatsoever.
No, because I want to tell you, and I'm gonna put this on a people level, on citizens of the United States level. Put politics aside. You're not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. You know, President Trump is not who he is. Joe Biden is not who he is. And you sit here and you look at this trial, and it's been televised, and you see everything that has happened, and you know that there's been no crime committed, and they're fixing to convict an innocent man of something, and they're going to make a big show out of this. That doesn't help Joe Biden when Joe Biden stands up and tries to, take credit or brag or boast or throw this back in a man's face. Look, dude, what happened, and if it comes down to a guilty verdict, and that happens, for you to come out now and you're a piece of shit, you know, and it should scare the living hell out of every citizen in this country, because like we said over and over, if they'll do it to him, they'll do it to you. They'll do it to me. That ought to scare the hell out of us.
Well, sure. I mean, that, and the thing is, they're going after a felony charges for 34 felony charges for misdemeanors, in essence, is what they are.
Yes.
They're misdemeanors. So they're trying to get a felony verdict. And let me tell you why. Because when the GOP convention comes up, they nominate the candidate.
Right.
But if he's called convicted Donald Trump, felon Donald Trump, they're trying to get the national convention to vote on Haley. That's another one of my predictions.
That's a good prediction. Think about this on the other side then. Biden is the worst possible candidate they could have. You take all this other stuff and put it aside, and
Yes.
this guy is still the worst candidate they could have possibly put up. Heard this morning, they're quieting Kamala's voice. Charlemagne, the moron, come out and he kind of said that they're quieting her voice. Well, she's a moron too.
Yes.
So she's not the best.
And why do you think they're doing that?
And that was my kind of dig at Charlemagne here, I guess. But my thing with that is they're going to do what they can to replace President Trump. If that comes down to that, they could possibly do that and go, okay, well, we're going to put Nikki Haley up here because she's not a convicted felon. But at the same time, you've got Hunter Biden doing all of his crazy stuff. You've got a diary out with Joe Biden, and it's confirmed and it's real that Joe Biden molested his daughter. You've got all this stuff on their side that works against him too. What if they bump him out of the way and put who they want into, and they just have their own election, and all of us just have to stand on the outside and go, man,
what just happened?
Exactly.
Because that's what I've been talking about for the past, since I seen Bill Maher on Gutfeld. And then all of a sudden last night was Charlemagne was on Gutfeld, and both of them had the same message.
Mm-hmm.
The both of them said both of the candidates suck.
Well, and they do. Well, not that they do.
They don't.
Not
That's
that
what they
do.
want. They want both candidates replaced. That is what you were talking about.
Exactly.
That is exactly what I see happening there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Fox News is all over it.
And I know Charlemagne, he's out here promoting his book and all, but even last night,
Maher.
right? And even last night, kind of watching Gutfeld, I gave it the fair and objective shot. You know what I mean? And I began to listen to him a little bit, and I agreed with a couple of different points. The best point that he said is that people aren't coming together as people to talk about the issues and voting based on that. They're coming together and going, Trump's an idiot, Biden's an idiot, and they do that, and it's unfruitful, and it gets the people nowhere. And I agree with that, and I was on board with him until he began to bring up January 6th, and then he tried to use the narrative that Trump incited an insurrection on January 6th. And at that point, even Gutfeld looked at him kind of confused and went, huh? He kind of was like, he didn't do that. And at that point, I'd had enough. I had to turn him off.
Well, this whole thing, it's got everyone talking. Everyone has conspiracy theories and predictions because, you never know what's going on. But I tell you, it's going to be the worst case scenario. It always is. Hunter Biden starts his court on Monday with his stuff.
On his gun charges?
And all you're hearing right now is Trump, Trump, Trump this, Trump this. Well, something that got pretty much lost in the weeds was Joe Biden going to go see the number 3 witness
in the case. Yeah.
His daughter-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing is it's just all fixed. And the White House comes out and says, President Joe Biden did not speak to daughter-in-law Haley about the upcoming federal trial of his son Hunter, her brother-in-law and former lover, according to the White House.
Keep going. Yeah.
Haley Berry. This is from Washington Examiner. I got this from them. Haley Biden is expected to be called as witness 3 when prosecutors for special counsel David Weiss's criminal gun case against Hunter Biden start their trial on Monday in Delaware.
Yeah.
I got to read this or you go ahead. Read this little statement right here.
Yeah, from our favorite White House press secretary. She goes, I think the American people should also be told the full breadth of this, not just part of the question here. She said, as you all know, the president actually spoke to this yesterday during his, I think, impactful, powerful Memorial Day address, where he talked about the passing, the anniversary, the 9th anniversary of the passing of his son, and he visited her as that anniversary is approaching. He visited her days before the anniversary of the passing of his son. She said, she is family. She was married, obviously, to his late son, and I think that is something also to mention. as you're asking your question to me.
Make sure you mention the son.
Yeah, and look how they done that. What does that do? That gives them plausible deniability. Oh no, he wasn't there to talk to her about anything about the case.
Do you believe that?
No, I don't. None of us do. And I got a question for that too. Okay, so you go to see her. Did you go to see your granddaughter, the one you didn't want to claim?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you go see her?
I seen this morning where the little stripper girl with the baby is coming out with her own book. This is going to be interesting. I never buy a Biden book whatsoever. Would never ever own one.
Yeah.
But I think I will buy that one.
I hear you.
I think I will support her.
I hear you.
You know, because he doesn't claim, he says he claims, but he doesn't claim that baby.
Yeah. Well, hey, look at this too,
That's
though.
sad.
And this story about him going over there to see her gets leaked out, okay? And on the surface, it does look bad. But maybe they're doing this to damage the credibility of the witness.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yes, because absolutely a pervasive fear has settled in, and Dems are absolutely freaking out over Biden, like we've been talking about. They don't want him. See, we want President Trump. We want him. You can go out there and say we don't want him and the people don't want him forever, and you'll be lying because you see the massive amount of people that show up for him. And yes, those people vote for him.
Yep.
Yes, they do. And if they don't, guess what? We got people out there that's registering them. So the Bidens are the ones that have the problem. I'm reading from Zero Hedge right here, and it says, while keeping in mind an old adage, it's not the vote that counts, but who counts the votes. Democrats are absolutely freaking out about what a dumpster fire Joe Biden is headed into the 2024 election. And that one quote that they are always saying, this is how you know that that's the only way they can win. They have the people who count the votes that don't know how to count.
Well, yeah, it's not the votes that count. It's who counts the votes. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
That's exactly the way it is.
Yep. Yeah, and it says, according to Politico, that a pervasive sense of fear has settled in at the highest levels of the Democratic Party over Joe Biden's reelection prospects. You notice I don't call him president.
I just read what they have on here. I don't call him president either. That's what they call him.
Okay, let me start over then, and just for a disclaimer, I'm not going to read the word president. A pervasive sense of fear has settled in at the highest levels of the Democratic Party over Joe Biden's reelection prospects, even among office holders and strategists who had previously expressed confidence about the coming battle with Donald Trump. Kind of goes back to our theory. They're going to replace both these guys.
Yes, that's what they're trying. But I think the people are going to fight back when it comes to President Trump. They just are. They're not going to put up with this. You know, they've already spent millions and millions of dollars of taxpayers' money to take him to court on every little thing that he's ever done in his entire life.
Sure.
He's the most investigated person in America.
Yeah.
Everyone knows everything about him.
Yep.
You know, there is nothing that's not transparent now.
Yep.
And they think that they're going to try to take President Trump off the ballot. That will not happen.
Transform your business with Shopify, the leading e-commerce platform designed for entrepreneurs of all levels. Shopify makes it easy to create a stunning online store with customizable templates and user-friendly interface. Manage your inventory, process payments, and track your sales, all from one seamless dashboard. With built-in search engine optimization and marketing tools, you can reach more customers and grow your business faster. Plus, Shopify's secure and reliable hosting ensures your site is always up and running, backed by 24/7 customer support. Join over 1 million businesses worldwide who trust Shopify to power their online stores. Start your free 14-day trial today at Shopify.com and see how easy it is to sell online, in-store, and everywhere in between. Take the next step toward e-commerce success with Shopify.
Please click the link below. Texas showed some grassroots fire yesterday.
Yes, they did.
I mean, the Texas primary elections everyone knew was going on yesterday. It was all over mainstream media everywhere. People really stood up. They really did. Let's see what happened. We had
Well, we had Dade Phelan win. He won his by a mere, 300 and something votes.
right.
And I like what Michelle Smith said on Twitter about, she goes, Dade Phelan and his cronies can gloat all they want. This guy can't win anything without the Dems voting for him. Remember, we mentioned this the other day, that the Texas House, the Texas legislature has played the game a lot like D.C. has. They put a speaker in there that the Democrats could use. They put a Republican speaker in there who also, they infiltrated the Republican side. So they basically created a uniparty within themselves.
Yes. And the Dade Phelan only won by 366 votes.
Yeah.
And we found out that the Democrats are the ones that voted for him to push him over.
Yeah.
And this comes really at the time, and I'm really excited about our GOP. I'm really excited about our Texas GOP delegates who overwhelmingly decided to close the 2026 Republican primary. And hopefully our new legislature that's coming in will make this a thing, because this is why Dade Phelan won. This is the only reason why he gets to step foot back into
the open primaries.
It's just crazy.
Yep, that's the uniparty that I'm talking about, man. Yeah, that's what they've created. Gateway Pundit had a great article about this, talking about this very thing, and talking about how Phelan prevailed in his primary race. He's an unpopular figure with the Republican grassroots over his unsuccessful effort to impeach Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on baseless bribery and corruption charges. And he's also faced criticism for appearing drunk while addressing the legislature.
Yes, and he did it often.
He didn't just appear, he was.
He was.
Yeah. And the Texas grassroots voters are never going to forgive him over the impeachment process, impeachment that he put Ken Paxton through. We're never going to forgive him over that, man.
Because he was just elected. Ken Paxton was just elected as an attorney general. And then all of a sudden, Dade Phelan's going to step up and just, with his Democrat friends, and that's what did it. And then the rhinos, who are his lieutenants, I'm guessing, which thank the Lord that most of his lieutenants got voted out.
Yep, and that's the best thing to talk about right here. And Michelle Smith brought this out. She said that Phelan and his cronies now, that they can gloat all they want, but they can't win without the Dems voting for him, and that is true now.
And it's not a victory for him.
From now until November, this ain't a win for him, because he's lame. He's lame now. Hopefully, he is lame now from here on out. Ken Paxton endorsed candidates. They took out 15 incumbents. They won 22 new endorsed seats for a total of 24 seats. That's the largest turnover ever.
Who has a real victory now?
Yep. Who has the real victory?
It's not Dade.
It ain't Dade, and it ain't the Democrats.
And I can guarantee you he will not be picked as Speaker of the House next time.
Who won this? Who's the victory? The grassroots people, man.
Texans.
Be informed and become engaged.
That's what we do. But I really want to read, but before we close today, I want to read Ken Paxton's statement about this. He said, this is his statement on Dade Phelan stealing election. He said, in case you missed it, the following statement tonight demanding the implementation of closed primaries. He said, Texans, we can no longer ignore the betrayal we witnessed in this election. Dade Phelan, in a desperate attempt to secure his political future, orchestrated a strategy that relied on Democrats voting for him in the Republican runoff. He knew he couldn't win on his own merit, so he sought to bolster the chances by courting Democrat support in his district. The Covey campaign has identified at least 1,442 Democrats who voted early in Jefferson County, making up 20% of Jefferson County's early vote numbers. Without Democrats, Dade would have never won. Because, I told you just a while ago that only 366 votes divided them. So
exactly.
Dave Covey would have won handily.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I hope with the push for closing the primaries, I wish that maybe an open primary would be a good thing, but I believe you would have to commit to voting in that party for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean?
I do.
I mean,
That means if you flip
parties in the primary, then say for this many election cycles, you have to vote in the party you just voted for. You have to.
Well, I think it should be along the same lines that you're talking about, but only the one time. Like if whoever voted for Phelan in this primary right here had to also vote Republican the November election.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just that one cycle.
Well, they would not go vote. That it would be a wash.
Well, that's pretty much true. But see, guess what? He wouldn't get that vote now, would he?
Yeah, I get that. And I guess to avoid all that, the best way, I guess, to be would be just close the primary. Be done with it. If you're a Republican and you're registered, you better be voting Republican. You know, this.
Yeah,
like I say,
I'm on board for the closed primary as well.
Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. You know, we couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
and we'll see you next time.
We're out.